Hello and welcome to Stories with Dice, an actual play podcast of some of our favorite tabletop role-playing games.
Hi folks, welcome back to an actual play podcast of Tales from the Loop. I'm Ed. I'm joined by, as usual, by my wonderful, lovely co-host Marco.
Hello.
As well as some or most of my lovely players.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
As you may have heard, I have a bit of a cough, so please try to ignore that. Marcus can do his best to kind of edit it out as we kind of release it, but I'm guaranteed to cough at the wrong place. So let's have a little quick start. So however you listen to us, if you could give us a thumbs up, a like, subscribe, or any of that usual stuff that's related to social media, that would be very kind of you. We have a Discord channel you can join. We have a Patreon channel that you can join. If you could subscribe to those, that would be lovely. Patreon has a free subscription with us, but if you'd like to pay for some stuff, that would be also great. We have a website and all the other information, which would be in the description of the episode. So let us get on with the next episode, which I believe is episode 7. Where we left off from last session, we had a few things happen. One, poor old Anthony forgot to tell his mum and dad where he was staying overnight, so they called the police.
Oh, he didn't forget, that was intentional.
Well, he intentionally, as far as they're concerned, I guess he forgot.
Yeah.
So yeah, he kind of like ended up staying out. So he had the police on his tail, trying to find out what's happened to him, with his parents worried sick. We had a short little encounter with a police officer in the local diner where everyone escaped from said police officer. We found out that, or at least the kids found out, that there were a couple of people watching them, or at least watching the diner, a man and a woman from Rick's Energy, which is the name of the company that owns and runs the loop. Later on, in fact, poor old Susie got abducted by them, which was not fun. In the meantime, the older boys decided they were going to go back to the factory to break in to see what they could do about what was going on over there. There was a bunch of other things that were going on. I'm not going to go through everything. Listen to episode 6. So I'm going to start with the first thing that unfortunately Sol is unable to join us for the next couple of episodes. So we're going to say that Susie is held up. Turns what happens, I guess, for the next couple of episodes. In the meantime, the 4 lads are all outside the factory. Now, if I remind everyone, the factory is sort of off to the side, still in the limits of Stenhamra, which is the name of the town that everyone lives in, and it's the biggest town on the Malaran Islands in Sweden. The factory itself, it used to be a different factory before it could start producing toys. It basically comprised of 2 buildings, a main factory and a warehouse, and it was surrounded by a chain link fence. And then on the outside of the factory, there's a load of junk and old rusted containers, and barrels, and just pretty much everything you'd get from a site that's been around and then abandoned for ages. The larger of the 2 buildings, the factory is a 2-story building. The smaller of the 2 buildings was a warehouse. And I believe where we left off, the 3 older boys had approached it from the behind. So they were kind of covered partially and obscured by the junk that was all around the edge of the chain link fencing. They came prepared with hammers and some cutters. And so that is where we're going to start. It is the 1st of April. It is mid-morning on a relatively chilly day, but the sun is out and there's a few clouds in the sky. Okay, I guess we'll start with Anders. I think, was it you or was it Sven that had the bolt cutters?
Yeah, I've got the cutters. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got the hammer.
What did you've got the cutters? You've got the hammer. What is Johannes bringing to the party?
A great personality and a smile.
Excellent. Why would you need anything else?
Well, he's bringing his business acumen, right?
Always helpful when you bring an entry into a factory. Okay, it doesn't take long to snip the chain link fence, and you kind of get up into the junk and the barrels, and you're sort of like by a large sort of rusting metal crates. So you can kind of hide behind that between the crates and the chain link fence. And I have a little map to show you. We'll just say you're there. So you can kind of see along this side of the factory, the north side of the factory, you can see a bunch of windows, which are all sort of at sort of first floor height. And they're probably about, I don't know, 8 or so feet off the ground. And then there's small windows that sort of like just follow around. And it's the same sort of thing on the second story. You can see looks like some stairs going under the factory. It's probably like a basement or something. And then you know from last time that there's a big set of double doors around the front of the factory. And on the opposite side of where you are is there's a couple of single doors which allow you like access in and out the actual factory itself. There's no way to get up to the first floor on the factory. You have to go into the factory to get up there if you wanted to do it. So, who is leading this merry band? Maybe we'll say it's Johannes because the other two have got the gear. What does Johannes want to do?
Okay. Remind me, there was a truck while we were waiting, wasn't there?
There was, correct. Well remembered.
Where did that end up in the end?
So the truck is sort of like waiting, I guess, by the double doors. It's kind of reversed in, sort of like about, we call it 4 or 5 foot. And you imagine that they're unloading stock or whatever they're doing. Also, you also remember that there was a lot of the toys were sort of like wandering around the yard. So yeah, but there was no one else actually in the yard. And you know that the security guard, when you haven't checked this today, but you imagine the security guard is still in the security shack down by the front gates.
So are the toys wandering around just now at the guard? Or are they out of sight right now?
You stick your head out. You can see actually there are 3 sort of like maybe sort of forearm length helicopters, and they are busy flying around the yard in the front here.
And is the truck near the warehouse or the factory doors?
It's by the factory doors.
Okay.
So definitely not going near those doors because there's obviously people there. Can we see, like, if there's a side door there was for the factory?
Not on this side.
Is that the stairs going down on this side or?
Yes, the stairs going down sort of like towards the back end.
And we're at the back end, right? We're on that side.
Yeah.
Right. So that's probably, we could probably find a door there.
Well, say my vote would be go have a look at that stairs first of all.
Yeah.
Okay.
If we go one at a time so we don't all get caught at the same time.
Well, let's play a jump to crawl around over here.
I would say, guys, I'm going to go first. You stay behind.
Okay.
Yeah, the fence is open. You're already through. You don't have to do anything. It doesn't take much to like cut the fence. It's not like, it doesn't appear to be any electrics or anything. It's just a good old fashioned old school chain link fence.
Okay. So I signal them, okay, guys. No, I think I'm the quietest here. I'm going to try to sneak to the stairs. And I will signal if I see that the door is safe and we can go through. Is that okay? Just hide on these trees.
Okay. Well then, Sven, make a sneak roll. Add it to your, sneak and body, add it together.
There you are. Nothing.
No successes. Okay.
I'm going to push it perhaps. I know because then I will get.
You can choose to push it if you wish. I have no problem with that.
7 dice and nothing to.
Yeah, it's kind of sad, right? I will not push it. I just want to go.
Yeah. You're just that kind of like really nervous, kind of like expecting someone to see you and jump on you. And you kind of like run towards the stairs going down. And as you do that, you kind of like trip and sprawl face forward. The hammer that you had in your hand skitters and then unfortunately hits a drain and goes down into the drain. You don't see anybody else. No one's looking at you. You regain your dignity, but you're now in the middle of the open. What's the plan?
I try to go faster in the wall.
Yep. Okay. That's fine.
As fast as I can, since I made all this noise, at least they don't see me.
That's fine. You scrabble, sort of like make your way to the stairs. You can see the stairs go down.
I follow them and I try to, crouch, go down. Try to reach the door.
Yeah. So as you make your way down the stairs, and it's all made of sort of like this grey kind of like concrete, and there is a metal door at the bottom of the stairs, and on the front of the door it says "Warning: Explosive Materials," and you can see there appears to be some kind of electronic gizmo-y thing, which is what's controlling the door.
Okay, so no lock or anything, just numbers or something like this.
Yeah, so there's like there's looks like a pass key and a little keypad.
Okay, so I'll go back up the stairs and then I kind of signal the boys to come.
If you all could make a move roll, you don't need to worry about sneaking because that's now out of the question.
Oh, well, here we go. 2 dices, straight body.
So, Pete, how did you do?
1 success.
Amazing. Johannes, did you
2 dice and nothing.
Nothing
So-
for you.
Anthony failed.
Anthony failed. I probably would need to push any of this. It's fine. Okay. Yeah. You kind of like rush across. There's a little bit of hesitation and stuff. You kind of like run through. It's like someone's put like a bunch of glass down there just to kind of like crunch underfoot. And you kind of make your way across and down the stairs. You can see Sven basically looking at this metal door, a load of like electronic gizmo-y stuff on the side.
Is it locked?
You tried the handle.
Have you tried unmuting yourself?
Yeah, sorry. So, good call. No, I did not try the handle, but I saw this keypad, so I'm guessing you need to do some science thing on this.
And I try the handle.
You can. It is well and truly firmly locked.
Oh yeah, science.
It's like they didn't want some random person to wander into the explosives room.
80s, what is health and safety?
No one does health and safety, honestly.
So has anybody got any clues as to what the code might be?
I mean,
Try 111.
That's a terrible code.
Did you want to try 111 and then hit enter?
Yes.
Okay. You hit 111, hit enter, and a little red light comes on and nothing else seems to happen.
but you guys have a screwdriver or something to do some science on this keypad? I'm sure you can just connect 2 cables and make things happen, right? That's what usually happens on the movies.
In my experience of fiddling around with electronics, it's not quite that simple.
No.
Well, Anders,
there's
you're good with electronics. You should give it a try.
So one of you needs to make a calculate roll.
Right.
You should
I'll-
just hit the hammer, Sven.
No,
About that.
he's lost my best hammer.
The hammer is down a drain.
Yeah, I'll have a look and see if I can make out, figure out what coloured wire goes where and what does what, and see if I can figure out what would actually move the solenoids to unlock the thing. And I'll just have my best guess.
Go on then. If you can make a calculate roll for me.
1 success.
1 success. Okay. Yeah. You reckon you could probably do that. So you'd have to take it apart and you'd have to then cross wires and all the rest of it. So that would require a tinker roll and a program roll.
Right. I'll get Anthony to hand me the tools as I require them.
And you would need to succeed in both without setting off an alarm.
Yeah. So it's like I'm performing an operation here.
Oh, I love that game Operation. Don't touch the sides.
Yeah. So I'll give you my mole grips and my screwdriver, and you hand them to me as I ask for them.
Yes, sir. And he salutes you.
Yeah. All right. So I'll get the casing off to expose the wires.
Cool. I just want to ask. Okay. Does Tony does Anthony have any skill in Tinker out or program?
Anthony has 1 in Tinker and nothing in
Okay.
Program.
Did you want to add 1 extra dice to your roll, Pete? So just click on the D6 on Foundry. It'll just roll an extra dice. Okay. So you got 1 success. Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay. Okay. So you basically pull the mechanism apart and you start to mess about with the wires. And if you could make a program roll.
Right. Now I've got to guess which colour wire touches which.
Yes, that is a guess.
Yeah.
It's always the red with the blue. Everyone
Yeah.
knows that. I mean, every
So-
single movie.
Not the red
Unfortunately,
wire.
it turns out that Anders is colorblind. So, you can, if you wish, push that roll.
But it doesn't seem to have set off any alarms by getting the wrong one. I'll try another combination.
Well, it depends. It might do if you don't push it. Okay, there we go.
All right.
You're just about to kind of go, oh, actually, I'll do it this way. And then you think, oh, hang on, maybe not. It's a slightly older system. So maybe if I do it this way instead. And so you manage to change your mind at the very last second. And as you do that, the little red button or the little red light blinks green and the door unlocks.
You did it, Anders. I knew you could do it.
Trying to act as cool as possible. But actually, I'm just so chuffed that I managed to do something.
you go into the room. The door opens inward, and you can see a spiral staircase on your left-hand side going up. In front of you, you see a lot of flashy databanks with lots of lights and glittery things going on. The rest of the room appears to be empty, apart from what looks like the small bottom of an elevator that goes up to the first floor, which is on the right-hand side.
And they don't.
It's one of those kind of small sort of like elevators you'd put gear and kit on that's heavy.
Look at all these computers. It's like the auxiliary control room in Star Trek.
Well, we are looking for some sort of off switch for like the cyborgs and stuff, and that certainly looks like it probably has an off switch.
This is certainly no explosives, that's for sure. So they are tricking us. They didn't want us to be here. We're just putting the sign to keep us away.
There's a lot of like bleep, 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 bleep coming from the actual databanks. And you can see coming from behind the databanks a group of 7 of these deceiver bots. They are all holding what looks like knives, and they all look at you. Right?
And I look at them and I'm like, I approach slowly.
Okay.
Careful, Sven.
Can I have Anders give me the ball cutters?
Yeah, here you are.
Just gonna snip off some more limbs.
As you take a step forward, they all rush towards you. This is what we're going to call extended trouble. So these deceiver bots will fight you. And so as a group, you are going to need to try and deal with them, which means you're going to figure out what skills you would like to use against them. I have an idea of how some of you might react to these guys. So if I ask each of you how you are going to deal with this extended trouble. Right. I guess we'll start with Sven. You're probably the easiest person to speak to about this.
Yeah, I'm just going to go full out crazy. I'm going to take the ball cutters and I'm just going to use it to smash them to pieces and cut some arms and legs if I have a moment to do so. I'm just going to enjoy this very much.
Your destructive side is going to come out.
Yeah.
Okay. So while you're doing that, what are you going to do, Johannes?
Interesting. Is there anything else just like lying around in this room that I can just pick up and throw at things?
There is nothing. It seems to be quite a very clean cellar.
Okay, then I guess I'll just try and just pick something, stick a robot into a wall or something like that.
Okay. So you also want to fight. There are other options, and you can, run away. You might want to try and damage the databanks. You might want to.
Well, that's what Anthony is going to do. He's just going to start pushing buttons and trying to break the giant servers.
Like pull out wires, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. And what is Anders going to do?
I think Anders is going to use the tool sack he brought with him with the bits and pieces in, and he's going to try and like hold it up as a shield and keep any robots away from him and Anthony.
All right, then. So I'm going to ask you to please each roll what you think that skill would be. And I need you to get combined set of 8. So I need 8. So
You mean we need 8 successes?
in total, yes.
Yep. Okay.
Well, I'm not going to be helpful at all on this, but here we go.
Well, I have a question for you, Ed.
Sure.
My iconic item is my Walkman. Can I put that on and blast my mixtape and get that 2 dice bonus to my roll?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So he will do that. He blasts Synchronicity 2 by the police.
Okay, cool.
And I'm guessing mine is a Tinker roll?
Yes, if you want to like pull stuff out. Or it could just be a straight force roll if you just want to like kick it and smash it, depending on what you want to do. It depends if you want to be calculated about it or you want to sort of, so it depends if you're using your knowledge of tinkering about what's the right kind of chords to pull and that kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
So I'll tell you what, why don't we'll start with Sven, because Sven's like up front along with Johannes. Why don't you make your fighting rolls?
Perfect. So just roll body and force. Any pluses or minuses I need to take care of it.
Is there anything you've got the You've got the big bolt cutter, haven't you? So you can have a +2 to that.
Oh, I should have like 9. I don't know,
Okay.
9, 8, something like that. 9, yeah.
Okay, you've got 1 success.
That will help you with 0 successes.
Okay, then. Do either of you want to push that roll? And so
I'll push my roll. Why not?
1 success from Sven.
And
No
one from-
successes from
I'll
Johannes.
push mine too.
Okay, you push the roll.
Johannes got success. Yes.
Woohoo!
Okay,
Johannes gets a success.
As Ben will also push. So
Yes,
it's 2
so-
successes.
So you've got 2 successes. Johannes has 1 success. Anthony has 1 success. That's all right. We've got, room 4. So, it's just down to you, Pete. You need 4 successes.
I'm going to try and hold off the rest of them using the tool sack and hold them at
Well, you can
arm's
have
length.
+2 to that.
Stop
Yep,
them from
that's
getting.
fine.
You say +2 for that? Or,
+2.
all right.
Wow.
2 successes.
2 successes. So you still need another 2 successes.
All right. I'm struggling then. I'll give it another go.
Don't forget, all of you will take, for anyone who's pushed us, I think it's all of you.
Yeah.
Don't forget to take another condition. Scared is probably going to be a good condition, but any physical conditions as well, because the little guys are going to attack you with knives.
I don't lose that 1 success if I push, right?
No. You still stay.
All right, we'll try it.
Okay. What
One
did
of
Johannes take?
one of those little buggers must have cut my leg or something, or my ankle.
Yeah, they've cut your leg and kind of like, what did Johannes take?
I'm
Douglas?
just scared.
Scared.
Yeah.
And Pete.
Yeah, I took scared as well.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Anthony is dangerously close to being broken, by the way.
okay. Yeah. So they kind of like, you kind of take out a couple of them. They fight you with every little ounce of their little beings. And they appear to be, and they're talking to each other at the same time. So you can see they're sort of like giving each other directions to kind of like move around you. So a couple are sort of like distracting you while another one kind of attacks from behind. They definitely appear to be less dumb than they were previously. And so they end up attacking you and like pushing you back, and you end up having to be pushed all the way back to the stairs, and you have a choice. I'm going to give you either they're going to overpower you or you're going to run away. This is your decision.
Perhaps run away.
Yeah, Anders is definitely a runaway candidate.
So with your tail between your legs, you basically rush off back the way you came, as you see, in fact, as you're sort of running away, Sven, you see your dad come out from around the corner. He's got sort of like a bit of piping, and he looks really angry, and he appears to be striding with 4 or 5 other people, and they're all walking very quickly with various bits of like rope and bits of metal piping as you sort of like rush out through behind the metal crates and out behind the chain fence.
Okay. So you're telling me that they see, is he a cyborg?
You're not close enough to tell that.
Okay. I tried to run to the exit, to the, where we did the hole on the fence, I guess.
You can get through the hole in the fence. That's not a problem. And you can quite easily get out of here.
I just wait for the rest. I will grab a stone or something.
Yeah, you all kind of like run, and it's not a problem. It doesn't require much for you guys to get out, and you can rush off.
Okay.
Unless you're going to do something outside of the fence.
I'm going to look at you guys. I will try to hide somewhere. Are we hidden?
No, you're not hidden because it's just fields behind there. So as soon as they get to where you were, I mean, they could quite easily probably crawl under and through the barb, the chain fence you've
Still
cut.
coming beyond the fence?
They are still coming. They're still coming towards
Okay,
the fence.
fair.
Yep.
Keep going.
Yeah, you kind of stop, look around, go, ooh, oh no, wait, they are coming. And then you will leg it through the fields.
Run, guys. And I'm
Guys,
like,
let's go back to our hideout and rethink this. We need a better plan.
sounds like a plan. Let's get the bikes.
Yeah, you run back to where you left your bikes. You ride as fast as your little legs take you back to your hideout.
Do you think we should talk to that nice police officer that I met?
Trust the police. They're in on it. That guy definitely, the other one was.
Yeah, but she wasn't. At least she wasn't the other day or a few hours ago, whenever that was. I don't remember anymore. All the days are running together.
I think it was earlier this morning.
It was earlier this morning, yep.
Do we have something for this cut? I really got hurt.
Yeah, let's have a look at that. I think we've got some plasters and stuff in that old first aid kit up there.
Well, you're going to
You
have
do
to
indeed.
amputate my leg.
No, Anthony, doesn't look that bad, but you have to keep it clean.
Does anybody have a res spell?
Yeah, we could really use a cleric in this party.
Roll to hiss it and make it better.
Ew, what, guys, stop doing those things. I mean, we are serious people.
Yeah, Johannes, that was weird.
I'm just trying to make light of a difficult situation. That's what I said in the book.
A joke, man.
They didn't have any jokes in the book. It was more quotes and useful business advice.
Guys, I think maybe we should, if you guys don't want to talk to the police, at least that nice lady, maybe we should get my dad involved. He works at the Loop. He's a
sciencey guy, right?
He's a scientist, yeah. He'll know what's going on.
How do we know that your dad is not a cyborg?
We don't. We'll just have to find out. I mean, how do we know who is a cyborg in town? We just have to be careful.
Well, I think it's those cuts in their neck, isn't it? That's how you guys figured that out.
Yeah, it's on the side of their heads, behind their ear.
So if you go home, if your dad has a stitch in his neck, run away. If not, we're fine.
Yeah, I wonder what my dad was doing. I mean, he told me he was working in the Loop, but this is not the Loop.
So Sven, do you reckon they've got him as well?
I didn't have time to have a good look, but man, I'm gonna check when I get home.
No, Sven, you shouldn't go home. He was inside the factory grounds with a pipe. He was going to attack us. He's totally
he looked very angry.
He's one of them. You can't go home.
But he didn't see me very well. Like, I don't know. Perhaps he didn't recognize me. Well, I need to know, guys. But you gotta stay here.
Well, you can't go alone. So I think we should all go, and then we should check on each of our families, like together.
Yeah, why not? Just keep guard until we know.
And we have to figure out what happened to Susie.
Yeah, where is Susie? She was meant to meet us. I completely kind of forgot about her. She needs to go grab something, she said.
Yeah, she was getting us speakers in her synthesizer, but I got a bad feeling about this. I think she got caught.
No, we've only known her like a day or two. Maybe she just went off and did girl things.
No, Susie wouldn't abandon us like that. She's in trouble.
Well, she never signed a contract, so she's not legally obligated to do anything.
Are you all going to make a bit of time with yourselves to kind of like get the old plasters out and clean up any wounds?
Definitely going to do my best to patch Anthony up. Yeah.
Yeah.
So what kind of, so you're obviously patching Anthony up. That's fine. What are you going to do to kind of like mentally sort yourselves out?
Just gonna smoke a cigarette and chat with the guys to see if I'm get less upset.
Okay.
I'm going to start suggesting that we find some adults to help us, but before we choose which adults, we're going to have to check they've been got.
So how long you guys want to stay at the hideout? 2 hours?
But I know that my dad doesn't come home until late. So I would perhaps stay until 30 minutes before he arrives, more or less, and then go.
Okay.
I will just chill and relax.
What about the rest of you? How long?
Janice will probably just wait till dinner time and then head back.
What about Anders?
He's worried about his family. He's going to want to get back and check on them, I think.
So how long do you want to stay here in the hideout for?
Probably an hour or so.
Okay. What about Anthony?
So, game mechanics question. When Anders took care of my cut, does that remove the injured condition or no?
Well, as it so happens, if you all spend some time, a few hours, sort of like in the hideout, chatting and talking things through, getting some, bandages and some plasters and stuff, you will heal your condition.
All of them or just one?
Yeah, all of them.
All of them. Okay.
So, which is really nice, but you need to sort of like spend time making an effort to sort of like do that with each other. So if you're just going to literally turn up and then disappear, then that isn't something you do, but you heal your conditions as the rules. If you heal your conditions in the hideout in the same way as using your anchor, this requires that 2 or more of the kids have to be present in the hideout, and they have to be physically or mentally close to each other. For example, hugging, telling secrets, stories, or comforting one another. Patching themselves up means you basically heal your conditions. It's very kind.
Well, Johannes will be there till like 5, so he's there all afternoon.
Anthony's mom is really pissed at him, so he's not exactly ready to go home yet. It's a Sunday. So his father's not working, and he can also go to his grandmother's house. That's his anchor. But I think the first thing he's going to do is he's going to stick around here with whoever is going to stick around, whether that's Anders and Johannes or for several hours at least.
Okay. In which case you can all heal your conditions. You do that kind of thing that kids do. I could have taken them. Did you see me smash that? Yeah, I pulled the leg off that one. If only they hadn't have, like, turned up there. Oh, no, it's terrible. But that's okay. We'll get them next time. You kind of big yourselves up and sort of like tell a slightly different story to what happened.
We had the hammer completely different.
Yeah, I just needed a couple of more seconds with those wires and those buttons, those blinking yellow and red buttons, like the ones on Star Trek, and like all to shut them all off. But then that stupid robot cut my leg.
Yeah, you kind of like end up spending a bit of time just chatting it through. And actually, it's quite a bonding experience for you all. I would fair to say that I think that Anthony's probably enjoying the bonding experience, even though it was from something bad, because they were all kind of like treating you like an equal. So two of you are going to go your sort of separate ways ish. The rest are going to wait until later on. Anders, you're going to go home first.
Yeah.
Explain to me what happens when you get home.
I'll just get in and see who's about the house, head for the kitchen, grab some snacks.
All right. Yeah, you get in. Your parents are sitting watching TV when you get in. In fact, no, you probably go home in the afternoon, right? So what does your dad do for a living?
He's a salesman for a fertilizer company.
Okay. And your mum?
She works at a bar, as waitressing.
So it turns out that your dad is home and your mum isn't. Your dad looks at you when you come in and asks you what, you're not at school, and then sort of like shakes his head and realizes that it's a Sunday, asks what you've been up to.
I just slightly prevaricate. Oh, just playing with the guys, running about, stuff like that. But I just make small talk, which is really unusual for me with my father, as I'm trying to maneuver around the room to get a good look behind his ears.
Okay. You are very happy to hear or to look at that he does not have any kind of cuts behind his ears. He's showing you the usual level of interest that he would normally show you. It's actually quite nice. Without your mum being here, it doesn't appear they're not obviously arguing or anything like that. And so he's reading a book, which he puts down to speak to you. And he kind of helps you sort of like, because you probably come in about lunchtime, he'll sort of like make you some lunch as well. He seems perfectly fine, which is a big relief to you.
Yeah, happy for that. Quite happy to let lunch go on for a while. It's been a while since I've sat down like this, and it's reassuring. But I'm also eager to go and see grandfather as well at some point. So I might make my excuses a little while after lunch and
go and see him.
Yeah.
Okay. Anthony, at what point are you going to go home?
Probably around the same time most of the other guys do. I'm not taking the most obvious route home, and I'll come in from the backyard, make sure there aren't any unfamiliar cars in the driveway.
There is a police car on the driveway.
Okay. I'm on the back porch, and I'm kind of like listening to see maybe trying to peer through a window or something to see what I can see in the house.
You peer through the window, you can see your mom and dad sitting on the sofa, and they are talking to that same blonde police lady that you met earlier today.
So is the back door unlocked or locked?
It is. Yeah, it's unlocked.
It's unlocked. Okay, so I'll just walk in, run into the living room, and see if I can notice whether or not the nice police lady has been compromised.
As you run into the front room, your mum and dad stand up. What's their reaction to you coming in? Because this is the first time you see them since yesterday now.
It's mixed emotions, right? They're totally pissed at me. Mm-hmm. It's also triggered them because my older brother went missing a year ago. Yep. But they're also happy that I'm here and alive and safe, and that their kid has returned, right? So there's like some yelling and crying, and like they don't know if they want to hit me or hug me.
Yep. You scared the living daylights out of us. Slap. You could have got hurt, slap.
But I did get hurt. Look, and I show them my cut on my leg.
Oh my God, what happened? You know, they will ask you straight away what will happen. What happened? Why is your leg sore?
I need to speak to Dad in private.
Mum wants to know why. There's a lot of sort of like arguing. They start to argue, but the police officer, she gets up and takes your mum to the kitchen.
Did I get a chance to notice whether she had like that thing over her
She's
ear?
got sort of like a cap that kind of like goes off at an angle, and it kind of like covers just that sort of area. So you're 50-50 on that one. You don't really know.
Okay. So I'll stand beside my father, and as the police officer takes my mother into the other room, I say, do I remember her name?
Yeah, her name was Inspector Ingmarie.
Inspector?
She looks over and says, yes.
Could you take your hat off, please?
She says, oh, I'm really sorry. She takes the little hat off. Yeah, you can see that she doesn't have anything behind her ears.
Okay. Thank you.
She folds it up and puts it in the sort of like, on the lapel. So it kind of like sits on her shoulder.
Yep. So then I'll sit on the couch and I'll say, Dad, there's something really wrong happening in this town. Do you know those transformable toys that are like ripoffs of the Transformers?
Yes.
Well, they attacked us, and that's why I have this cut on my leg. There's a factory at the edge of town, and something weird is going on. Like, they're alive. Those robots are alive. They're not toys. They're dangerous.
He looks at you with sort of like this.
We need help, Dad, and I need you to believe me.
He puts his hand on your shoulder and says, sort of like tussles your hair. Says Anthony. He kind of like puts his fingers into both his eyes, as if he's trying to ward off a headache. He says, what do you mean they're alive?
I mean, they're not toys. They're like weapons or something.
You can see that he's kind of got a little bit of smile on his face.
And they're doing something to the people in the town. Like, some of the people, if you ever noticed, if you ever got out of your office for like a minute and noticed, people in this town, they have these, the sides of their heads are shaved and they have like these operations, and you can see the scar and stitches, and they're not the same. Magnus isn't the same anymore. And Sven's dad tried to attack him with a pipe.
He kind of like looks at you square in the eyes and says, am I going to have to take away those Tunnel and Trolls games from you?
It's called Dungeons and Dragons, Dad.
Look, I appreciate that you've got such a great imagination, and it's going to do you amazingly well when you're older. Robots attacking people, cutting into their heads. Come on now, honestly. Tell you what I'll do. I'll go and speak to Sven's dad. Okay?
That's not good enough, Dad. This is why Joe went missing, because you never pay attention and you don't listen to anyone.
He grabs your shoulders and he shakes you, and he immediately gets really angry. He says, you go to your room now. You go to your room and just think about what you're saying. Go on. And he basically sort of like raises his voice, not in even like a apparently kind of raising. It's a sort of like proper shouty kind of raise. So much so that your mom and the police officer kind of like sort of peer around the door, and he pretty much shoves you through the front into the landing and says, just go to your room now, as you run up the stairs, presumably crying.
Yep.
And run into your room, slamming the door with a loud bang. And as you're doing that, you hear a lot of like shouting downstairs, and then you hear some breaking of like something that's in the front room. I think your mum might collect sort of like porcelain pigs or something. And it sounds like your dad has probably smashed like a couple of the porcelain pigs or thrown them off the side of the.
That is such an amazing random detail.
There you go. And I think with that, we will call that the end of episode 7.